Hello, and welcome to On the Couch, a weekly video series where we talk about a range of issues that impact on mental health. My name is Tracie Rogers. Today we're here with clinical psychologist Sachelle and Gall-Singh. Welcome.
Thank you.
And today we're talking about trauma in the body. Now we know that a trauma is something that happens that's out of the normal, that has the ability to really shake our lives up. Yeah?
Yes.
And so we just want to get clear on what trauma is. So
Sure.
trauma is any activity that's out, any event, that's out of the ordinary. And it affects us psychologically, emotionally, physically.
Yes.
And we know some examples of traumas could be
anything. It could be school-related trauma. It could be an individual's experience of getting an injection at a doctor's office, and that's incredibly traumatic for that person. I think many times we have to make the distinction between like big trauma, small trauma,
Right.
but it's one's perception of whether something is traumatic that's really, really important.
Yes.
It's once it causes you distress, that it means that it's something of an issue for you.
So that's so important, Sasha, because sometimes someone says, well, that happened to me and I was fine.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But that can happen to somebody else and it can totally change.
And they can
their
be
way of
fine
being.
if they have a certain amount of resource, their ability to digest this and work through it. But it doesn't mean that somebody else with less resources or less coping skills is going to be able to work through it. And I think we have to honor where we each are and what we're feeling and how our bodies are responding.
Yes. So I like how you put it too. So there's small traumas and big traumas. So small traumas, injection, it could be a fender bender. Major traumas, physical assault, sexual assault,
Yes.
experiencing a natural disaster.
Yes.
Something that you have lost something, yeah? You have lost something physically or emotionally or psychologically. A lot of relationships could have traumatic elements of it.
For sure. And I think in terms of, the theme with this episode with the body, if, let's say, a fender bender, but you've had a car accident and you've lost consciousness,
Yeah.
or you've had severe injuries that have taken you to hospital and you now need surgery, that takes it to another level where it's not just the emotional component of this is happening to me, I did not expect it. I now have to cope with the physical component of being injured, now having a long recovery phase. What does that look like? So if we get to how trauma is registered in the body, what that really has to deal with is your mind's recognition that something bad has happened, something that I feel overwhelmed or distressed to deal with. But then you also have to think about the body's recognition. The body has a memory of what that experience was like. So if we go with the car accident, the body has certain reflexes, and every time the body has to go into this movement, it will trigger the anxiety, the distress, the helplessness. And when we do therapeutic work, or when I do therapeutic work with people, it's not just about the talk therapy aspect of working through the emotions, it's also understanding that the brain and the body does not have an outlet for negative emotion.
Right.
So how we get to the digestive model of trauma is by understanding that when we eat something that disagrees with us, we have a way to expel it, right? Through our bowels or through expelling it.
Sweat. We
Correct.
get rid of the bad stuff.
And they're core kind of physiological mechanisms that allow us to get rid of these toxins. However, with emotional distress, that's something that the body absorbs.
Right.
The body becomes a dumping ground for these emotions.
So we might have something traumatic happen to us and it shows up as anxiety.
Yes.
Or it shows up as sleeplessness or something that we call hypervigilance. So I'm constantly alert.
Being on your guard.
I'm on my guard all the time, and we might think that what's going on is in my mind and I just need to work it out, I just need to go and I need to talk it through. But every single experience that we've had, I think it leaves a mark on our body.
It leaves an imprint. That's how I like to put it. It's like the body has its own roadmap for what has taken place. And if we think about the impact, many times we feel it. One of the first red flags for people who are experiencing trauma is not just flashbacks or nightmares, some of the most early signs of it is a feeling of tension, aches and pains that may not always be explained by a medical condition.
Yes.
It's just a general feeling of discomfort and sometimes pain.
So I want us to stop there, and then we're going to come back into a second segment to start to talk about how to start to treat and deal with the way in which trauma has impacted our body. So for now, we want you to leave with this clear idea that when something happens, anything happens, it leaves an imprint, a mark on our body, and we can work through some of our thinking and our feelings around it. But until we get to what this is doing to our body, there's only so far that we can get in our healing process. Yes. So please join us again for part 2 of this video discussion, where we discuss the ways in which trauma impacts our body and how we can move past it. Thank you for joining us.